Me llamo Jose Alvarez. Although not a theorist myself, I have written a critical piece on Slaughter, Doyle and Kantian views of classical liberalism in regards to international treaties. I wish to explain here my views on global treaties under international law, and then on international law, and then linking back to classical liberalist views. It has come to my notice that international law brands states outside of the zone of law as unliberal and illegitimate. But rather than persuade states to liberalise, classic liberals tend to exclude non-liberal states, thus pushing them further from the constraints of law. However, liberalists often generalise the law-abiding tendencies of liberal nations. Often treaties are no more binding than with non-liberal states. Liberal courts are just as likely to resist as they are to enforce international obligations. A good example of this is America's disregard of international law, despite its liberal government, which puts it in the same bracket as non-liberal governments in Africa or Asia. Doyle and Macmillan have bias towards liberal states, which is perhaps unfair, as democratic states may have found complying with treaties easier than undemocratic states because the agreements tend to reflect more of their own preferences. Liberals cannot suggest that democratic states' success comes from their politically liberal regimes, as we don't know the extent to which the treaties merely follow their pre-existing liberal laws and regulations. On the topic of war, I am not necessarily against democratization as Western foreign policy, but I do disagree with Kant in that I see liberal states as no more or less likely to go to war or comply with international law on the grounds of their liberal regime alone. By relying on the degree to which a state is liberal, we are in danger of giving legitimacy to the US and UK to wage war against non-liberal states. To sum up my criticisms of the division between liberal and non-liberal states, I see liberalists like Doyle flawed in their description of these differences as a new Iron Curtain, and urge theorists to reconsider the trust they put in liberal governments. Buenas noches.